New Year's Eve, 1991 rolls around, and I'm being delivered into this crazy world. Beautiful as can be, chocolate, chunky, with all my fingers and all my toes, with a full-blown crack cocaine-tested baby girl. My mother, Elisa, was a gorgeous woman, especially in her younger days. The small image I can remember of her is that she was tall, about 5'10", with long, beautiful mixed girl hair. She was high yellow and a mouthful of permanent golds, at least 8 perms. She reminded me of Pocahontas. She kept a nice car and somebody's daddy money on standby. What I can also remember about my mother was that she walked with a limp and used a cane. She attended a funeral with my family when I was a kid. I remember the limp, but I cannot recall even her saying one word. I cannot recall her ever saying a word to me. But I've been told my mother walked out of the hospital once I was released with the warning from Children's Services that they will be following up. This woman walked out in an all-black, ankle-length mink fur coat with me and carried me on home. My mother would go on drug binges and come home for a week or two at a time. One day she came home and I was there with my 2 older sisters when she found me unresponsive. Let's just say a long journey of madness came soon after. At 3 months old, Children's Services was following up. My mother knew that they were on their way when I was found unresponsive in my crib, being watched by my other sisters. Her drug use was still an issue. They were performing a normal drop-by, and as they approached and knocked at the front door, she was inside the home smoking crack cocaine while holding me. She was so startled that the hot pipe blazing with fire to melt her substance dropped and burned me, leaving an immediate mark. At that point, just 3 months old, I was taken into the system. So here we are with a newly developed heart condition. Heart disease and heart failure run terribly in my family. But who knew I would come out with it? I'll never forget how my family would complain about the sound of the machine going off. It would wake up an entire house. At least we knew when my heart rate was dropping. Year after year, visit after visit, heart monitors, I had to carry whatever this heart defect was. My dad's side of the family gave my mother hell from the very jump. They claimed I didn't belong to my father. No one wanted to believe he had a child at 64. I mean, let's be honest, my papa was a Rolling Stone.
Right here on Catch the Hook TV.
No, not to rush you, but I'm thirsty to get into your story. Why don't you let the people know where all of this started from? You know what I'm saying? You got a very unique story. You've been through the ringer. You wasn't supposed to be this far.
No, I wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of issues.
I'm the one that they counted out.
For sure.
I'm the one that I was supposed to be pregnant by 16 with the first case of HIV. I was supposed to be in prison. I mean, if anybody know me, they know I used to be a real savage with my hands. So let's talk about Travis. I met Travis when I stayed on Oakland, corner of Oakland and Cherry. I think he used to go visit the Jones brothers or whatever as to why I used to see him.
Who, Travis?
Yeah, I think.
Tall, light-skinned Travis.
With freckles.
Yeah. So I can't imagine him going to the Jones boys' house.
So maybe he just knew I stayed over there because this man, I would see him, and I say man because I found out later he was grown. You know, at least in early 20s.
Right. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Oh yeah, you ain't that damn younger than us.
So I see him walk past, and one day, somehow, some way, we exchanged words. He started coming and sitting. I don't know if you remember Kool-Aid.
Big fat Kool-Aid.
I remember when his car caught on fire in front of my house. But that building that they used to be at on the corner of Oakland and Cherry, there used to be a yellow building. It's gone now, but it used to be one. They used to post up in there. So Travis used to come and sit on the stairs or whatever, and I'll go down there, walk, a couple houses down and sit on the stairs with him. And it just started there. Travis never came on to me like to want to have sex or anything like that. Anything like that came from me. It did.
My nigga.
Because at this point, it's this light. I already lost my virginity, what was left of my virginity in Florida. I was 13 years old when I lost my virginity. Yep. And willingly. You know, so when I got back here, I was on clank clank, that shit. So I was really excited that he wasn't into that, you know, too much. Like he wasn't on me like that.
Was it an awkward feeling though? Seeing how you encounter so many people who do push that?
It was. Yeah. And then it became disappointing when the first time that I ran away, and I ran away to him. He couldn't help me because of the shit that my brother had caused. So we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
So, boom, me and Travis kicking it. I'm finally now coming off of Oakland and going across and going on Cambridge, sitting on the porch with him talking. I think his mama knew that I was underage, but he was lying and telling her I think I was that I was of age. She didn't like me. But Travis was cool. When I moved in with my brother, so let's rewind some more. When I came back from Florida, I started at Sky High School freshman year. And I hadn't seen my family in maybe 2 years from us leaving Toledo. So one day I'm walking from Scott and I see my brother. He gave me his number. And I'm excited, like, yeah, I just ran into my brother. You know, I got my family with me. That's what I felt at that time. I got family. They just dropped me back in Ohio. Like when I say drop me here.
So what, you was in a foster?
No, so Myra in my book, my sister who got custody of me first, when she died, her daughter got custody of us. So she had us.
And that was in Florida.
And then she moved us to Florida.
Okay.
And after she got tired of it, she I'm talking about threw us back here in Toledo, whoever would take us, and everybody, and I don't mean to say this in any fucked up way, but everybody was willing to take me because I received a check from my dad being deceased.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I was always income. So one of my nieces decided to take me in on Oakland. That was one of my nieces or whatever, and that's how I met Travis. But where was we at with Travis? So I tell my brother that Travis is 18 when I did finally have to move in because my niece got mad that I got my brother's number. I called him on the house phone. She said, I said not to call him, and since you want to be so grown, you can go stay with him. She put me out.
So was she aware of him being the way he was?
I feel highly.
Yeah.
But instead of warning me, because I didn't meet this brother. This brother did almost 17 years in prison for murder, for killing his girlfriend. I didn't meet him. And he got out for them 17 years. I was like 12, maybe 11 when I met him for the first time. And then we moved to Florida.
Okay, so
right after. Okay. So I never got time to even.
So it's like, I know you, but I don't.
And I know you. And I know these kids in this house is not blood related, but I know you is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
but
when
I
seen him,
gap.
Yeah, definitely a gap. So she made me go stay with him. The way he acted was like we was like this. I think he admired the relationship that I had with my brother Daryl, who is also in prison doing life right now for murder. Get back to Travis. So after she gave up on me, put me with my brother started asking me questions like, so I know, and this is where I feel like he plotted on me. He asked me, was I sexually active? I told him no. I told him that I had lost my virginity in Florida, but since I've been back here in Toledo, no. He said, well, if you are, I want you to make sure you use a protection. Do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, yeah. He like, how old is he? I'm like, he 18, lying, because Travis was in his 20s. But trying to make it closer to my age so he'd kind of get up off me. He was like, okay, that's cool. I want to meet him. I'm like, cool. So one day, I'm talking to Travis on the house phone outside, and my brother came outside, and I'm talking about the look he gave me. Give me that phone. Who you talking to? I'm like, my boyfriend. Give me that phone. I give him the phone. And he just gave me this look. I'm talking about this look made me go straight out the front gate. Demon scared. Like remember that glass? Them eyes, that glass. Yeah, I seen that. And that was the first time I seen it. You know what I'm saying? The second time I seen it was the night he did it. But I take off straight out the gate. I go on Mentor, the cul-de-sac off of Cherry.
Mhm.
And you know Big Duke?
Yeah, the one that passed.
That's my nephew.
Which one?
Big Duke that passed away.
The older. That's your nephew?
His mother is my that help it bring some closure to him too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That man was put in a situation where someone else was trying to take the sexual abuse that they did to me and make it seem like it was him. Like, so when I got to telling, so let's back it up. So in my book, y'all gonna find out about my brother and him raping me, getting me drunk one summer night in July.
Your brother?
My brother, he stayed on Detroit. And let me give you another crazy fact. Do you not know every house that anything has ever happened to me in, it no longer stands?
Which you call like it's vacant?
They don't even, it's just locked. Baby, 2448 Lawton Street, gone. That house on Detroit that he did that shit in, gone.
Damn.
Like,
Was that your first encounter with being touched
no,
with your brother?
no,
So that wasn't the first?
no.
Who was the first? I mean, you ain't got to go as far as name.
No, I could go with the first. The first would have been my family members inside my home. My uncle, my mom's brother, some nephews, some cousins. That's where it really all started in the family first. So I would say, I felt like it started at 5, when I was 5 years old. That's when AOL, Yahoo was popping and hot, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of women were meeting men in the chat rooms on there. So my sister, who had custody of me at the time, she would use those chat rooms, meet men, and then bring them to the house. But she was a heavier set woman. So a lot of people back then, I think they had the webcams, but she didn't use them much. So some of the men would come in the house and see that she wasn't who she portrayed to be.
So she was the first catfish.
She was the first catfish. Real talk.
She's still alive?
Nope, she gone.
Damn.
Myra would be dead if she read this book. Again.
What'd you say, a heart attack off of what page?
All again. The first one.
Damn.
The first one. Hold on, let me go check. The
Damn.
first one. No, we can let her breathe off the first one. We'll let her breathe.
And you wanna know what's crazy? Like, I done ran across a lot of people, not a lot, but a few people who have wrote books. Your book the only one being talked about. And like, you know, like say for instance, if I see a homie and I brought up your situation and then they start talking about your book, that's one thing. But when a motherfucker see me and they like, huh, you need to, nigga, her book, that's say a lot. You
I got a lot of feedback. My dad just called me before our interview. And my dad said,
I called him on camera.
He said, I can't put it down.
Facts.
He wanted to tell me sorry so bad, and I wanted to tell him like, Dad, it's not your fault. You know, but that I had, and I hate to say it like, but I had to go through that. I couldn't have seen my life being shaped the way it is now. Right. If my life was in and God put soldiers front line for shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
So you basically think that the fact that you went through what you went through is what shaped you into the woman you is?
Absolutely. Stuck. I remember as a kid laying in the bed and looking out the window, and I said, God, is life just telling a story about me? Why can't I see into the person's house next to me? Why can't I hear what they're thinking? Why does it seem like life is just telling a story about me? The only thing I knew was what was presented in front of me. Right. So this lady that's telling me I'm your mama, I believed her.
But she wasn't.
But she wasn't. When they said this is your brother and sister, I believed them.
And they wasn't.
And they wasn't. They was foster kids. They were adopted in.
Oh, okay.
They carried my last name. I was the only blood relation in that home to the woman who had custody of me.
Dang.
Yet you would have thought that they would have had my back.
So basically all your encounters with people growing up has always been sour? I know not every last single one.
In those days, yeah. Back in these 18 years, yeah.
For sure.
In them 18 years, yeah. I ran into more bad than good.
Damn.
bad than good. And sometimes just putting myself in self-harming situations. I didn't realize that self-harming wasn't just cutting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Self-harming wasn't just taking a bunch of pills. Self-harming was when I was putting myself in situations with grown-ass men to make money to survive in them streets, and then getting raped or getting, you know what I'm saying, stuff took it from you. And when I decided, hey, you only asked for a private dance, now you taking it?
You used to sell it? I knew you was hardcore for sure. I knew you was one of those
But
ones.
guess who taught me?
Who?
I think I'm gonna use a nickname, I ain't gonna use their real name. Mama.
Huh? And she a baby, man. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And she was a baby.
Yeah, because she was tapping older homies at that time when she was 12. And then they had, the stories was like, oh, she could take anything. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, she turned me on, put me in a couple rooms with a couple different people, and I just started watching and paying attention like, oh, so this how the game go? Oh yeah, I really ain't going back. I really ain't going back to the house. Why I gotta go to the house and get raped and molested and people take shit from me when I could just get in these streets and if I'm gonna use my body, make some money off of it.
Right, so you didn't have no fear.
I was numb. After my brother did that shit to me, I became completely numb. So then once he did that, no, let me take that back. I was at probably like, no, I became completely numb.
When your brother encountered, yeah. Yeah, but that...
Because now I'm a teenager,
right.
I'm older.
And you understand this is my brother.
This is the same man, they call my dad man-son.
Right.
So he used to be like, oh my God, you look just like her daddy. Little Miss Man-son.
Who said that?
That's what my brother used to say to me. You look just like her daddy, Little Miss Man-son. And keep in mind, I didn't get to meet my dad. My dad died 6 months before I was born from a heart attack. So I'm taking in from my brothers and my relatives what my dad would have been like. And I'm thinking that you're here to protect me. Like, I never forget, and it's crazy that my favorite color is still blue. Obviously for the Crips, but
No.
But it's crazy that my favorite color is blue because he used to make me wear these, it was like maybe a 2X pair of royal blue sweatpants when I first moved in with him.
So that could play a role in why it's your favorite color too. I mean, both reasons.
Oh, and I confronted him. I confronted him as an adult. I confronted a couple people. And I let them know, I said, I don't know if you know that I know, but I do. And I want you to know that I forgive you. You know what my brother said to me? He said, thank you, sis. You should come by and have drinks with me sometimes.
So was that a brush off or?
That's how you raped me. So he got me, I came to the house that evening. He got me home. He looked weird anyways, like his eyes was really, really like glossy and like glass. So I'm like, okay, maybe he just, drank or smoked or something. So he used to get me to go in the hood to get different girls' numbers and shit. That's how I could get outside and mingle with y'all when I did used to stay with him.
Who number he was getting?
The midget, like my cousin that stayed across the street, like he just would, he'll see him walk into the store, come back, tell me, and then, yo, go get her number for me, go tell her I said what's up. I'm like, all right, and the whole time I'm going off to go kick it in the hood.
But did you actually get the number?
No, I'll come out and come post up with y'all.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
So you was really sparing motherfuckers, cause yeah.
For real. But not knowing that he's like this yet.
Okay.
Not knowing he like this yet. So I go to the hood to go find her. I don't see nobody. I post up. Now, Keese.
Cause it's two from Scottwood. It's Keister and then it's Animal Sack.
Keister.
Okay.
Walked me home. Well, walked me. Yeah.
That's the one from off Central, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He walked me. He walked me through the back alley to where we lived. Him and somebody else. I can't remember who the second person is. We get to the door. My brother walking out. He like, come on, we about to go to the store. Oh, who is this? I'm like, they just walked me home. It was getting dark and shit. He like, okay. He was like, you want some beer? Offered, and you gotta think, if I was a kid, they was
Yeah, we always
they like, no, I'm good. He wrote his number down on a piece of like brown paper bag and set it on the table. Keith did. I'll never forget that shit.
Bridge out there.
I stayed in
The house on the field?
the house. Come out of Central Market parking lot and go towards OS 10 school.
And then it's the house on the
Yes,
left,
it was like
the last
yellow,
house.
yellow or something.
The raggedy ass house. And then it's the field. Then it's the school and shit.
You didn't bring me over there, somebody else did, but I stayed the night in that house.
Yeah,
And then what
I
y'all
think
didn't
I
know
remember
is,
it, but I don't.
a lot of times when I stayed the night in people's houses, people didn't know that they was getting me off the street for the night. Like I would be out there walking till 4 a.m.
without knowing they doing you
A lot of the OGs and a lot of the homies who I try not to expose.
The homies.
PJ being one.
That's crazy.
Over there on Scoutwood, remember they King and them had the building?
This is where they was trapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stayed the night in there. And if I'm telling you I stayed the night in there, he brought me in there. And what do you think happened if he brought me in there? We fucked around.
Wrestling match.
And then
and you was already familiar with.
She also took in both my biological sisters, a niece, and several foster kids, which she then added to her slave list as well. But when 5 creeped up, that's what it seemed like I became eye candy to the world. The molestation started, the incest shit they had been covering up for years had risen to the surface. Now let's keep in mind, there was always at least 5 or more kids in the house at any given point. All of us were being trained to either be a caged up pit bull or a servant for her, Myra that is. There were always special places in the home for me, especially when my ADHD crack baby ass got out of control or I ignored her enough. She would throw me in an uninsulated porch she called Ieisha's room. Ieisha's room wasn't just a porch. She stored her extra cases of soda pops there in the winter, and they would be slushy from the cold. A lot of times she would whip me butt ass naked and then throw me on that porch, freezing and naked. My niece or my sister or one of the foster kids would sneak in and cover me up with coats and the things that she had stored in there. One time Myra said there was a gas leak or something, and she made me stay on the porch for hours. I was out there till about 2 a.m. on a school night. She got mad at me because she forgot I was out there. But I also had a thing for cough meds. On the day she forgot and left me there, it was all you can eat. It was all you can drink cough syrup. Yes, I said it, cough syrup and Vaseline. I would fill my little belly up with it, so you never really had to worry about me getting sick with a cold. She also enjoyed tossing me into this dark, damp basement. Family would stop by and ask where I was, and she would let the monster out of the basement.
Is you scarred by that? Like, do that bother you? Good.
I just gained a whole community. Do you hear me? I wouldn't have been able to carry a pregnancy this year and do the work that I've been putting in.
Right.
My husband wouldn't have allowed me to stress our child out by taking on other people's traumas and their stories. I wouldn't have had a healthy pregnancy. That baby would have been stressed. Legs, skirts. She bought me baby fat shirts, had her son do a quick weave in my hair. I'm talking about
her son.
Yes, he was gay.
Oh, okay.
Bought me boy short underwear. So I'm sitting here like nervous in the car on the way back home, like if he not gonna be okay with this. And I got home, he was like, let me see what you got. I show him. He's like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool.
Right. Like, okay, he cooler than what I
Yeah,
thought.
he coming down, you know what I'm saying? The whole time I felt like that was a plot. That was you watching me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this particular day that he did decide to make his move.
Take your time, shit.
The night when Keith was with me and walked me home was the same night that it happened.
Oh, the night that he walked you home and wrote his number down.
It's the same night that it happened. My brother was like, come on, we about to go to the store. Remember, he's having these conversations with me. If you're having sex, I need you to use protection. This is the conversation we having on the way to the store. Do you drink? I'm like, nah, I don't drink. You smoke? I'm like, nah, I don't smoke, which I didn't at that time or whatever. We get to the store. He grabbed 2/5 of Rose and 2 40 ounces of Milwaukee's Best Ice.
And that Rose will have a motherfucker toe up if you don't drink it, even if you do drink it.
So he grabbed I remember grabbing my chips and my little honey bun, my snack. I get to the counter to put my stuff up there. I see a Magnum up there. I said, oh, that's for you and Sharon, his girlfriend. He like, love ain't there with me and her. I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we leave out the store. We walk back, get back to the house or whatever. We sit down at the table. He like, you want some? Come on, come have a drink with your brother. I'm like, okay. Sit down. He like, go ahead, drink it out the bottle. I'm like, oh, this tastes good.
And who a better motherfucker to drink with if it's your first time to drink other than
Your brother. You trust him, right?
Yeah, that's.
I was like, oh, this good. He's like, go ahead, drink. So I'm guzzling it now at this point. Taking it back. I remember standing up because I had on that skirt still and that baby fat shirt and them tie-up sandals. And I walked to the closet where my clothes was and I grabbed me some shorts out and I remember putting them on and I remember stumbling to the couch. Now, this had to be maybe about 30 minutes after I done drank this rose. And on top of the rose, he gave me the beer next to guzzle. So I'm taking the 40 down to Milwaukee's Best Ice. I still to this day can't smell that.
So he basically just trying to knock you out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I get to the couch. I remember sitting down and I remember my body going over.
Like, so how the hell how you know that
you hurt.
Yeah.
If they take it in,
they like, or you just feel
like
disgusted.
You've been,
like you just
like you'd have been fucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they like y'all male.
But not only that, me being a kid, my vagina wasn't that open.
Right.
So you forcing yourself in there,
right,
hurt it. I'll wake up in pain. But anyways, woke up the next day.
And you always been a little small, like bony ass girl.
And damaged a lot in me by him doing that to me. And I'll tell you why. So I wake up, I'm naked and I'm covered in a sheet. I wrap a sheet around me and I'm looking around, I feel sick. I'm looking around, Mark. The only person I can remember last that I seen was Keith.
Right.
So I'm like, I know he ain't coming here. No, Mark, my brother was here.
And you have experienced rape at this point already before.
Molestation.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? One person tried penetrating me, a nephew did. And because I pretty much showed how painful it was, he stopped.
Right.
And that was
so it was kind of like a scare, and you scared.
Yeah, well, it was other kids in the house, and he put me in the bathroom. I remember looking at the ironing board on the door the whole time, and he used baby oil, poured the baby oil all over me. I had to be like 8. Finally find Mark. He in the basement. I go down there, I'm like, what happened? Why am I? He said, what did I said, did something happen to me last night? He said, no. My mind's still so foggy. I'm like, what? And I remember walking up the stairs, like, back up. I'm like, what? Why am I hurting like this? Like my stomach hurted. Immediately, like, hurted bad.
And it's so easy to venture off in your mental, like, I was drinking for the first time.
The only person I remember was Keith.
Right.
So
and that's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you what.
You should have left with Keith.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. And I wish I was smart enough then to have known that, but.
Or.
I'll go to Corey house. Remember Black Corey, Gutter sister?
Action.
DK.
Okay, DK. Was that a good experience? I don't even know why I asked that. Because his soul is so
sweet.
Literally.
DK was a sweetheart. DK wasn't one of them ones. Remember how I told you, like, back then, it was normalized to, like, touch on girls and grab their ass and go in on them fast to try to have sex or do something. He wasn't like that.
Or grab their titties without permission.
We said on the none of that to me. Even if he had some, while talking to me, he never exposed it.
And when you was dealing with him, it was always, like, a good... That's what's up.
Pig?
Pig,
is that his mama or his sister? Remember Pig, the woman?
Oh, that's Jimbo mama. That's Godwin mama.
That's who house I used to go in. And then, what's the name, mama?
R.I.P. to Piggy, man.
To the door. Corey's mom knew that something was wrong. She knew by my spirit. Teresa? No. Tracy?
Miss Tracy. Shout out to Miss Tracy.
Right. She knew that something was wrong. I felt like she could feel it in my spirit. The way she opened that door and got me in the house.
She a mother.
And over to Corey, and into Corey. So I told Corey, I'm like, Corey, something happened last night. I don't know what it is. I can't remember nothing. I remember Keeson and walking me home. I remember him writing his number down. I remember my brother trying to give him some beer. I'm like, but something happened, Corey. I woke up naked. My stomach was hurting. But let's rewind back some. When I got upstairs from in the basement, I went in the bathroom. And when I sat down on the toilet and looked down, you know how guys tear off the corner of the condom wrapper? Imagine opening up. But I remember I said, Corey, I'm scared to go back over there.
I just caught on. You said you seen the condom wrapper, but earlier on, you was there when he bought
The condom at the store. So, and none of that had registered yet. None of it had registered. The store visit, none of it had registered yet. So I'm telling her,